Hi, I'm Kathy Sledge, Sister Sledge. I cannot wait to see you guys at Indigo at the Go-To Saturday, May the 14th. I'm going to be singing all of our Sister Sledge hits the way you know and love them. So come on out. I'll be looking for you. Love you. See you soon.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are across the globe. Welcome to On the Sofa with yours truly, Esther Austin. Well, today with me, I have a wonderful, wonderful guest, one who I've wanted to interview for quite a while, and it's Kathy Sledge. Drum roll.
Hi, how are you,
I
Esther?
am
Good
well.
morning.
I am well. I am well. All the better for speaking to you, and it's a pleasure to have you in London. And um, I'd love to come and see you at the Indigo. So we'll see about that. But without further ado, Kathy, I usually ask my guests in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, or a crab shell, who is Kathy Sledge?
Well, I love that question. Who is Kathy Sledge? Right now, someone who's very excited to be on your show and excited to be in London, getting ready for the concert. It's so hyped, and everything leading up to it. But I would say, on a more another level, Kathy Sledge is an artist, but first, a person that loves and embraces what I do, which is I love to bring music to your ears, and I love to, I know has always been my destiny to be an artist. I can't really remember ever as a little girl saying, when I grow up, I want to be a singer. But what I have learned is that it's destiny. Yeah. It really is. I'm supposed to be doing exactly what I'm doing now.
Yes, yes. And you know what's really nice, Kathy? When I've read your brief and just done a little bit more research on you, the word passion has come up so many times. And it's, when it's destiny, then it's out of your hand. There's that saying, let go and let God, because then you just go in the ebb and flow of where the universe has taken you. And you're incredibly talented. I mean, obviously you performed with your sisters formerly, and you've come from a musical background as well, so music has always been in your bloodline, so to speak. And you've just evolved through the years and become the solo artist that you are, as well as you formerly performed with your sisters. And talking about passion, then leading on from that, when you perform, Kathy, where do you go? What does it do to you and for you?
I think, and you've said so much, which is, I'm hanging on to every word to make sure I address everything. It's crazy because
that's okay. Sorry, I guess I'm just so we can all peel and unpick those individually. So we'll start off with the passion first.
I think first off, to be a voice and the voice that I like to say with a song like "We're Family," a voice that pretty much brings the world together.
Yes.
Through a song, to be that voice on that song like "We're Family," to me is surreal. It really is. And I get so many stories. People approach me everywhere from the airport to anywhere, the shopping centers. They're like, that song. And they'll tell me a story about what it means to them. It's my mother's favorite song. When my grandmother was passing, she wanted all to sing. I get these stories and I say to myself, wow, I don't take for granted what that song has done. And to be the voice on it is crazy. And you're right. Formerly, my sisters, actually none of the sisters perform together anymore. But what makes me most proud is that we did that. Like we actually, I always say, we were that group that brought the world together at the risk of almost losing our own, because it's very, very, and everyone knows the stories. We've gone through our things and still do sometimes, but I always say what makes me most proud is that is what will go down in history.
Yes.
And I think it's always, we go through this because I think being under a magnifying glass as well, everyone thinks we're like the Waltons, and like, no, yeah, it's a challenge. That's like every family, we go through that. But more importantly, I do think that to be able to sing all these songs, not just family, but my personal favorite is Thinking of You,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just feel like, these are songs that have, I always say they're like the gift that keeps giving. They
Mm,
just keep coming back because I think they they always are new to a new market, if that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
To a new generation, they become new and they also have this timelessness to them,
Yes,
which
absolutely.
which is a challenge for me because that means I have to look timeless. I'm kidding. But it's funny. I do say this. When you love what you do, it does keep you relevant. It's
It,
supposed to, you know.
yeah.
And I think that's a part of loving what we do.
Mm. And it's interesting, there's a couple of things I'd like to pick up about that as well, because you talked about, looking timeless. But Kathy, because you're passionate about what you do and because it comes from the heart and your soul, that's what keeps you timeless. People don't realize it's what's on the inside that's going to exude into, to the outside. And that's what keeps you timeless. That's what keeps the glow and of the passion of what you do.
Yeah, it's so true. It's funny because that is so true. I had a
Yeah.
friend once. I have two bits of great advice. I think one was a friend that told me once, we were talking about whatever. We were talking about passion.
Mm,
And they they said, no matter what, will you ever lose your passion for music? And I was like, no. And this passion is passion. So
mm,
when you're passionate about something, that doesn't go away. It's
absolutely.
passion. And then there's another one that I love, and I always share this. Um, a makeup artist told me this one. She goes, God gives you the face you're born with, and life will give you the face you deserve. I'm like, wow,
Ooh, that's
isn't
deep.
that powerful? That is deep.
Yes.
And what that means to me is whatever is on the inside comes out eventually.
Yeah.
You might have gone to school with someone and honestly, they might have been a bitch. I'm just being beautiful, but whatever. And if
Yeah.
you see them now, you go,
Yes.
wow, it caught up with them, whatever's inside. But
Yeah.
it works in reverse. You might have gone to, I don't know, middle school with someone and they may not have been too much of a looker, but you see them now and they're radiant
Yeah.
because in the end, it is what's inside that matters. And I believe when you connect the two, if you're passionate about something you love, it
Mm,
always comes through.
yes.
And it's even on the surface.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Definitely, definitely. And
Yeah.
you briefly touched on your sisters. The thing is, I really do believe that the songs "We Are Family" and "Thinking of You," they are iconic tunes, and they are reminiscent of where you were at the time. And like you said, the reality is, family is family. Families go through stuff. It's only like you said because you're under the spotlight that people get to know the ins and outs. But the reality is, and I think that's for people to accept, this is what's happened. However, it's the legacy of what you have left as a group, but then as individuals, and that's what's important. And
Yeah.
like "We Are Family," it is one of those signature tunes where it gets everybody up. And you talk about it being relevant to new audiences, but also I think the beauty around what you've done and what you're still doing is that people would be able to reminisce. Can you imagine, me in my 80s said, yeah, I remember listening to Sister Sledge. We're just having
I
these
know.
great
No.
reminiscent.
I have 80-year-olds that roll up to me in a wheelchair and go, I grew up listening to that song, young lady. So I get it. It's crazy. But I think, yeah, when the song, on a very serious note, it really, it was actually, of course, inducted in the Hall of Fame with the songwriter Nile Rodgers, of course. And then it's now registered in the Library of Congress, which means it's up there with the like Martin Luther King speech. That's when you think about that, I'm like, wow, that song is now in the Library of Congress, which means, of course, in the United States, which means it is an historical timepiece now.
Yeah.
And I mean, but it's what I love about We Are Family is it's timeless. And
Yeah.
what I mean by that is it came out around an era, maybe the 70s era, 79 actually, but it has lived through so many things. And that is why I'm very particular. And I really mean this. I think, I really do feel like it's important to always stay relevant. Of course, I have new music with Horse Meat Disco and different. They have a new record that just came out. But at the end of the day, I can never ever go on stage and not sing "We Are Family" or "Thinking of You" or "Greatest Dancer," and why would I? It's crazy. It's like going to a Rolling Stones concert, but they're not going to do Satisfaction. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yes, that's what you came for.
Yeah, that's what you came for. And it's also important to me too, the integrity of the music. And what I mean by that is a million people can sing it, but I'm honored that people love my voice singing it when I sing it live. And I think that that's what makes it special too.
Yeah.
I think it's very important to me when someone in the audience wants to hear every ad lib and sing along. I know personally, if I go to a concert and there's an artist singing, let's say Chaka, who I love,
Chaka,
like, yeah, if she's doing Sweet Thing, I want to sing every ad lib. I want to sing along with her. Yeah, that's why I bought the ticket. So I take heed to that. And since, through the years, I've learned to produce shows. I've produced shows, jazz shows about Billie Holiday, and of course, live concerts for festivals. And when I do the show that I do now, I love to bring to the person in the audience not only the integrity of the music, but what Sister Sledge brought to the industry. And that is, we were that girl group that always danced full on. So I work closely with production people in this case. And I hope we do see you at the show, because it's an experience. Like, I make sure there's a huge film behind the dancers.
Wow.
When, for instance, with Lost to Music, of the original sisters. And I told the choreographer, make sure that you get the steps, make them like the steps of Lost to Music, because we have to do that, because that's like a signature step.
Yeah.
But make it relevant now as well. The message I'm sending is, this is what we brought. Like, before us, who, it was LaBelle, I love LaBelle. It was girl groups with gowns, Supremes, 3 Degrees. I love the 3 Degrees.
Elegant.
But
yes.
We were I can't even imagine myself in a gown. So I was like, we would have to dance full on. And from that, we opened the floodgate to girl groups dancing, like the Spice Girls and In Vogue and TLC, because we love to sing, but we got to dance. And I do this because I feel like I didn't realize the importance that Sister Sledge brought to the industry, not just the wonderful hits, but also the image of girls like getting down and dancing and having fun and
having fun, yes.
Yeah. And I think it was a game changer. And so I love to bring that out in concerts. I love to bring out the fact that disco is timeless as well. As in the United States, I do a lot of the Sister Sledge ballads because, depending on the venue, like I just did the Jazz Alley in Seattle, which is a really cool club. But I wanted to make sure, we'll take you to the disco, but at the same time, let me give you some Billie Holiday. So at the end of the day, I think growing up on stage and coming out of a girl group like Sister Sledge, all of us, we brought so much to the table. I like to show, as the music keeps reinventing itself, I like to make sure that the show and the performance also reinvents itself and also is relevant to what that person's receiving in the crowd.
Excellent. So I guess that sort of informs us what we can expect on Saturday, because you are performing at the Indigo at the O2. And so, you've already created this incredible picture of what we can expect and experience. So I'm sure, people are already, getting ready for that experience.
Oh, it's so hyped. I'm so hyped. We're all hyped. The crew, the musicians, the singers. It's funny because what the dancers, of course, and what's so interesting, like I literally have a rehearsal today. And let me make this clear. I do blocking. I kind of like do what, I do the blocking. I love having the voice of these songs. And I concentrate very much on connecting all of it, what's up there the visuals with what we're hearing and seeing.
Mm.
But I think, yeah, we're hyped about the O2, the Indigo at O2. It's the kickoff of many more dates. I haven't, people know the story behind me, and I actually am talking, which I'm really excited about, to film companies now about the biopic behind the We Are Family story. And
Oh,
yes,
excellent.
people do know, like for years I was sued by my sisters, and it kept me quiet. I wasn't allowed to say I was of Sister Sledge or from Sister Sledge.
Uh-huh.
For our company, our company voted me out of being able to use the brand for years, and people don't know that. And the why, the biopic tells the why. It's more because I did solo projects. But what is so special about now, and why I feel so amazing, is I won back the rights to be able to say and use the brand as well.
Excellent.
And yeah, and what I'm doing honestly is I keep the integrity to make sure that the crowd knows what they're getting, and we have this timelessness of the music, like we know, and the authenticity of it. And the big question, well, how do you get along with your sisters? I get along. It's funny because we lost Joni.
Yes, I remember. I remember because I did an interview around that. Yes.
Yeah. Joni, she always had a party in her eyes. Joni
Yes.
I was the last sister I got a chance to really see and reunite with Joni in such a cool way. And she apologized. My sister Kim knocked on the door right before the pandemic. She's my neighbor. And Kim and I, we were like, we're the closest in age. And she apologized. And she's like, Kath, I'm so sorry that my sisters were so mean to you. You know what I said? It's like, hey, let's just put that behind us
and move forward.
Go back my rights that I can say who I am.
Yes. And move forward.
And support each other. And one thing Kim and I are doing, we're working diligently on making sure that all of our social media outlets always reflect the real sisters. There'll never be another band like the Beatles. And I feel like with Sister Sledge, we're sisters. When you go to our websites and our Facebooks, and you have to see us and not other people. That's important.
Excellent.
Clean it up, fix it up. And I think that's why I'm here. And at the same time, do the great music. And, who knows, maybe one day we'll do some things together. In the meantime, work on the fact that what you said earlier, always be proud of the fact that we had this record that really was written about us. And you can never be more proud of that.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing ever.
And that sort of comes nicely to the end of our interview. It's almost like you've drawn the interview to a close just by saying that. And so then, therefore, just being at the Indigo at the O2, it's almost like it symbolizes everything that you've spoken about, not just sisters, but it brings it all together with this. I just feel it's going to be an incredible display. So I'm hoping to see you there, and just wishing you all the best. And thank you so much for your time, Kathy.
Thank you. Well, I'm hyped. I'm looking forward to seeing folks come out. We've been getting an incredible response, and we are going to have a big party on Saturday night.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well, ladies and gents, I've been talking to Kathy Sledge, and she's going to be at the Indigo at the O2 this coming Saturday, the 14th of May. So get your tickets.
Thank you.
Everybody, let me tell you about my love. But to you, all you need to from above. Really quit with a lifetime guarantee. Wants to try it.
Hi, I'm Kathy Sledge, Sister Sledge. I cannot wait to see you guys at Indigo at the O2 Saturday, May the 14th. I'm going to be singing all of our Sister Sledge hits the way you know and love them. So come on out. I'll be looking for you. Love you. See you soon.